573-5425. Become a partner in hope. It is the 30th annual Country Cares for St. Jude Radiothon, brought to you by McDonald's in Alexandria as well as in Pineville, and Say's Office Supply. We've got special studio guest.
Yeah, our first guest of the day.
I know. So,
and she's so sweet. We just love her and her husband. They've been with us from the start. I mean,
in the very beginning, or at least is from my beginning.
Exactly,
in all of this.
exactly.
Like when I came along, you guys were already seasoned.
Always
veterans.
giving back.
I think so. I think I've been doing this. I think what did I say yesterday, about 18 years.
Yeah, we were trying to figure and remember.
Oh, yeah, because
Tori was diagnosed.
Yeah,
when?
Tori was diagnosed in 2005.
Yeah,
so it was 20 years last year.
20 years.
Wow.
How cool. I mean, I know I'm going to skip around, but how cool is it? Because she got like her doctorate or something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So how cool is it to know where it started and where it's going?
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, and none of this would be possible without St. Jude, because when Tori was diagnosed in 2005, we really didn't know what the outcome would be, and if we would have her
right
now today. And our outcome was very good. They not everyone's is, and we've had friends that have lost their kids, friends from here, from Alexandria and the surrounding areas. So we're very blessed to still have Tori, and that Tori's able to have her dream job and work at St. Jude, and have her be able to continue her education and get her doctorate. She graduates. She walks in May, but she just finished her defending her dissertation last week, and so we can now call her doctor.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
So when we talk to her this afternoon, we're gonna be like, "Is the doctor in?" Like,
So we're very proud of that, but getting that, and she can share more of that to you. I mean, she'll be able to do more things and research and stuff like that at the hospital for them. And
this is probably more hands-on than, I mean, not that what she wasn't doing there before was hands-on, but this year's got to be more.
Well, she's still gonna be doing what she's doing,
right?
And she loves what she's doing. She loves working with the children and teaching them what they're going to go through and their procedures and stuff. And she can share more of what she does. But it was funny, this over Christmas we were eating some candies, and they came out with Skittle Littles, and they're the little bitty Skittles.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, Mom, those are so cool." And so what they do with candy is they teach children how to swallow pills.
With candy?
With candy.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. So she was like, "That's so cool," because they use mini M&Ms.
Yeah.
But if they hold them too long, they start melting. The Skittles won't melt like that. So, and they're harder. So it would be easy. So that was, I mean, they use you think of the different size pills you may have.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So they have different size pills for, they may use a Ike and Mike.
Right.
For a bigger pill. So things like that are really cool.
That is smart.
To understand
I never even thought about that.
What Child Life does.
Yeah.
Child Life teaches these children, how to swallow pills, and they're going to go in and have surgery and get a port, and what's going to happen. And, she has different little tools, like a little doll that she'll use to show them different things, of procedures that they're going to have and what it's going to do to them and everything. So,
well, I mean, if somebody's just now tuning in, your daughter is Tori
Hinton,
and so I'm gonna let you just kind of tell the overview of like how she was diagnosed and stuff like that, if you don't mind.
So when Tori was 11, and Tori was very athletic in all kinds of sports, and we were going into softball season, and so we were out practicing and playing, and Tori just wasn't as strong. She was just really tired and just not feeling good, and wasn't hitting the ball as hard, wasn't throwing as hard, and she started running a fever, and we took her to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, she has a sinus infection." And she did. I mean, it was true. She had one. And so just treating her for that, and then just wasn't getting better, and went back, and it had gone into her throat. She had strep throat, and started treating her for that. And her legs started hurting really bad, and every night she complained about her legs hurting and everything. And then from the strep throat, it led to mono. And so when she got the mono, we were going back like every 3 days, I think, for blood work. And her blood work was just wasn't getting better.
Right.
And so she woke up one morning, and like every night I would rub, and she was out of school because, when you have mono, you're not in school. So I would rub her legs at night, and I would go home at lunch, and rub her legs and just rub her back and stuff. But it's mainly she complained about her legs.
Mhm.
And so she woke up one morning and she said, Mom, she said, feel right here. And she had some knots in the back of her head. So her lymph nodes had swelled up. So I called the doctor, and I told him, I was like, look, I don't care if we have to do MRI from head to toe. We've got to find out what's wrong. And he's like, yeah, I've really been looking at her blood work. And he said, I want to send her blood work over to someone else to have it looked at. Because we were at one hospital. He wanted to send it to the other. And I was like, nope. I said, I tell you what, we'll just run her over there and have it done. So we did go take her to have a scan just to make sure that there was nothing going on, with those knots in her head. And then we took her to have blood work. And so that day I went home at lunch, and I rubbed her legs and, talked to her and everything. And so I was driving back to work, and the doctor called me, and he was like, hey, where are you? And I said, I'm driving down the road. And I was on Hyman Lane. And he said, can you pull over? And, I got chill bumps right now.
I can only imagine.
Just, I knew something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd kind of been doing, internet research. So I kind of almost knew what he was going to tell me. And so I pulled over, and he said, Lynette, she has leukemia. And he said, we don't know what kind. And he said, but we're sending it off to the St. Jude affiliate in Shreveport for confirmation. So we said, okay. So he said, but I want to see you in Bama in my office, tomorrow morning, and we'll have an official diagnosis and everything. So we decided, so I called Bama, and we decided we weren't going to tell Tori that night. We were going to wait, till the next day. So we go in the next morning, and we get the official diagnosis, and he says, where do y'all want to go? Do y'all want to go to New Orleans? Y'all want to go to Texas Children's? Do y'all want to go to St. Jude? And we were like, there's no other place we want to go. We want to go to St. Jude. I mean, we had been partners in hope since before Tori was born, and right after she was born, one or the other. I mean, it's been a long time, but we've heard about all the things that they had been doing, and but we had never been there, but we had always supported it. So that was it was our choice to go. And so we decided to do that. And we said, well, we've got to tell Tori, our son was in college. We need him to come home so we can tell him. So we called him and asked him to come home. And, I got back in my car, and I was like, oh gosh, I need to go get my car inspected. I need to go to school, because she still had a month of school left. So we had to, go get everything situated, because we didn't know how long we were going to be there.
Right.
And so I go get all that done. And of course, I go to school. I have to tell them, well, word spread really quickly.
Yeah.
And people started calling us, wanting to come by and see her and everything. And so we just said, no, we've got to tell her. So when Michael got home and we all got through, we told her that afternoon. And
How old was she at that time?
she was 11.
Okay.
So that was one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do, is, tell your child they have cancer. And
how did she take it though? I mean, did she know it? Was it one of those things that she kind of knew but just didn't?
No, I don't think she ever thought that she had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that she ever really knew what cancer was, really.
Right.
But the first thing she asked her dad was, am I going to die?
Yeah.
And
that had to be tough to hear.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh,
I mean, he would tell you the story.
He'll break down.
I have
Right.
tears in my eyes, but he would.
But
it's
it's got to be like, it's the most helpless feeling in the world.
It is. It is the most helpless feeling in the world. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what treatment they're going to do. You don't know how to help your child, because I know how Tori was hurting.
Right. Right.
So we just didn't know.
Yeah.
And so, the one thing that she wanted to do was she wanted to tell her friends bye. That was her main thing. She wanted to go see all of her friends. And we had a ball game that night. So we decided, okay, let's all get packed up. We don't know how long to pack for, but let's pack.
Right.
And we went to the ballpark. And so we had let everybody know, hey, we're going to be at the ballpark. So even people that, didn't have games that night were there.
Yeah.
And so we didn't leave until, it was probably 8:00. Left, headed to Memphis. And so when we had to pull over because, she would be hurting, I'd pull over and rub her legs for a while and everything. And so we did not get to St. Jude's. We pulled up in there at 2 a.m.
So that like 6 or 7 hour trips are probably turned into like 12 or 13 hours, right?
Yeah, 8 to 2, whatever, but
right.
we made it. We made it in good time, but we drive up to the gate. It's a gated facility.
Yeah.
And so we drive up to the gate and the guard comes out and he's asked for our name. And I said, Tori Hinton. And he looked at me, he said, oh, y'all are finally here.
They get worried about you. Yeah.
Right.
What? Yeah. And so we, he tells us to go and park in the underground parking and I think somebody met us down there and they came down, you're finally here.
Yeah.
And so they take us up and we go to a room. And because, it's an outpatient hospital, basically you do everything outpatient, except when you have fevers or when you're first there.
Yeah.
And so I think when we first got there, we were in the hospital about a week.
Okay.
When we were first there. So we go upstairs and, so what we found out is when the doctor called them that morning at like 9 o'clock, they expected us to be on the road.
Right.
So they had expected us a lot earlier.
They didn't know that y'all were going to go,
right.
Ball game and just chill.
Right. And back then you didn't have cell phones that, everybody didn't have one. I didn't have one.
Right.
So you only had them if you worked.
Right.
And
so you're
not worked, but if you worked for a company.
You were kind of missing in action there for a little while.
Yeah.
They were getting worried.
We were missing in action. They were worried about us. Yeah. And so we, but at 2 a.m. they started everything. They started doing blood work. We went down for x-rays. They got the ball rolling when we were there. And so the next day, we had to go down for a procedure and everything. And because they were going to do a bone marrow and see, so they could test it and get that diagnosis again. So so I was sitting down there and we had a friend that child was there and we were actually planning to visit them. And so I look up and there's Richard Sanders, and he's our friend's, he's the dad of Evan.
Yeah.
And so Evan was there and that's who we were planning on going to see. And so he came down and sat with me while, they were doing all that. So it was good for me because we had somebody there we knew, and just friends. And Julie would come into town when, because she was the school teacher. So, she was teaching and Richard had a job that he could be there with him when she weren't. So they went back and forth. But, we spent a lot of time with Julie and Richard and Evan and everything.
Was Evan was diagnosed before Tori?
Evan was diagnosed like the year before Tori.
So you kind of knew about.
Right. So Nicole, Evan's sister, and Tori played softball together. In the summer before, and Julie can tell his story, is when he was diagnosed, and everything.
Right.
So we had kind of knew what they were going through with St. Jude and everything, and heard the stories from them. But
I guess it's kind of bad to say, but it's kind of a good thing that you had that there, so that it was like kind of like the blueprint that you knew that you you weren't going to be alone.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the one thing. The feeling that you have when you walk in the doors of St. Jude is it's relief because when you walk in and it's just from the people, like the guy at the front gate.
Yeah.
That they care. You know that everybody there is there to help you. And you're just turning it over to them because they are the experts.
Right.
And so they help you in every way that you can. We got there and they said, okay, after you get settled and everything, when you come, if you drive, you have to fill out this form. And when you fill out this form, you go downstairs and you take it to the travel department and you turn it in.
Yeah.
And then the next day they'll give you a check
They'll
for your
reimburse
mileage.
you. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
And then, hey, you can go down to the right down the hall there and you can cash that check at the credit union that they have downstairs.
Was that a little bit overwhelming? I mean, because that's
It-
not normal.
Yeah.
You know
no,
what I'm
it's
saying?
not.
at all.
It's not
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
And and then like we were so we were inpatient for a week, and then you go outpatient.
Mhm.
And so back then, and everything's changes. All their housing has changed and everything. They just have so much. It's sad to say.
Yeah.
But they have built a beautiful complex
Oh,
right
yeah.
across
Oh,
from the
yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
But it's sad to know that they have the Ronald McDonald House, they
Mhm.
have the Target House,
Yeah.
they have the new, I think it's the Domino Plaza.
yeah.
That's what it's called.
Well, sort of like I think
Um,
they have like all their conferences and stuff like
Yeah,
that
I
in
mean,
there.
it's
It's
a
beautiful.
huge place.
It's an amazing place.
And then they have the little hotel. I guess they still have the hotel. I think it's the
I know.
Tri-Delt House. It was the Grizzly House then.
Yeah.
But when you go and you're temporary, you would stay in the hotel setting.
Mhm.
Then we would move to the Ronald McDonald House, which is if you're there, I think back then it was 6 months or less. And then if you were longer, you would go to the Target House, which is
Mhm.
apartment style living. And I don't know what the Domino is. I think
Yeah.
it's a combination of a lot, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure. But anyway, so we moved to the Ronald McDonald House, and so they said, okay, when you go to the Ronald McDonald House, you have your room,
Mhm.
and it's like a hotel room,
Mhm.
with bathroom and everything. And then there's a laundry facility right down the hall, and there's a kitchen facility, and you're going to share a kitchen with another family. And so it had a big refrigerator, commercial refrigerators, and freezers. And so you had your side. There were two sides, and you had your side, and then they had a food pantry. So a lot of people, local people, donate to their food pantry. So you could go in there and get rice and macaroni and cheese and stuff that you could cook
Yeah.
with, but you had to buy your staples like your
Right.
milk and your meat and all that kind of stuff you wanted. Well, they give you a Kroger card
Yeah.
for groceries every week.
See.
So if you're staying at the Ronald McDonald House or the Target House or whatever, they
Mhm.
give you money for groceries,
Mhm.
and it's enough, to buy what you need to
Yeah.
cook and everything. So I mean, where can you go that they're going to give you a meal card when you're at the hospital to
Right.
eat? And even your meal card, if you're staying at the hotel or something, I mean, you can order pizza from Domino's and use that meal card. There's several businesses there that you can use
Right.
that meal card and order food from. So, I mean, they just take care of every need. And then
Yeah.
you don't get a bill.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't charge you for your care.
But isn't
And
that
you know,
it's just
the thing
amazing.
is, the thing is, everything that she's been saying is, if you want to know where your money's going when you give and become a partner in hope, she just told you.
Yeah.
You know,
This is where
you
it
don't
all
have
goes.
to worry about anything.
You don't have to worry about going bankrupt or losing your house or losing your car. And, Bam and I both worked. Well, Bama had to stay here and work, and I was there with Tori. And I was fortunate that, the company that I worked for would, I was gone for 3 months. They
Mhm.
held my job. And then when we came home after 3 months, we would have to go back like once a week. But we would go back for 3 days and we'd be home for 4. But, travel.
Yeah.
So you have
Mhm.
to travel. So my company would let me work no matter if we went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would work, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Right.
Sunday, whatever. They would just let me work when I could. But I mean, and we had insurance, so they bill our insurance. Our
Mhm.
insurance paid. They accept what our insurance pay, and we don't get a bill. And believe me, I saw the EOB, so I know how much cancer care costs.
Yeah.
And there's no way that we could have afforded that. And
What's
so-
what's a ballpark figure? Like just like randomly just
back 20 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I will tell you the first bill that I got for the week that she was in the hospital
Uh-huh.
was about $200,000.
Wow.
For all the treatment,
Yeah.
the procedures and everything. And that was just for 1 week.
Yeah.
So just imagine
Yeah.
the rising of how
Today,
cost
yeah.
of, healthcare of everything, how
even-
much it would be today.
even back then, somebody was like
Oh, yeah.
just a job and,
Mhm.
and trying to make it in the world, that would have bankrupted you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that
Sure.
would have
Yeah.
just financially destroyed you.
Mhm.
Right,
But you would do anything you can
right.
for your child. So
So, we're very thankful for KRV, for all the radio stations across, the country that do these radiothons to
Uh-huh.
help raise money. And it's because the people in our communities, the
Mhm.
Partners in Hope, everybody out there listening, whether you are a partner in hope or whether you're thinking about becoming a partner in
Yeah.
hope, this is where your money goes. It goes to help families so that they can take care of their children in there while you're there, because that's the last thing you want to worry about is how I'm going to pay for
Right.
this. It allows those parents to just be focused on their children and their care. And, because the child doesn't need to see the financial burden worry for their parents.
Yeah.
I mean, they can sense that their parents are worried about them and their health. But if it was that and the financial burden, I mean,
it would be too much to bear.
too much. And that would affect the child too. So, St. Jude is it's a beautiful hospital. It's a beautiful facility. I haven't been in it in years. When COVID hit and everything tightened up, you don't just get to go in much anymore. But one day, when I go visit Tori, since she works there, I'm hoping that I'll get.
You got to bring her lunch or something.
Yeah. Just to get through the gate. It's an act of Congress. If you're not,
if you're not on the list,
if you're not on the list,
it's like a really cool nightclub.
It's hard to get in.
Yeah.
So usually, when I go and see her, if I go take her something, she'll give me her little hang tag. I'll drop her off at work, and then that way I can just sneak through the little gate and everything. But yeah, it's a beautiful place, and
but how?
I mean, everybody will tell you when they walk through the door, they just feel that hope. They feel just a relief. Just a relief that comes over you, just because you believe that you're there and they can help you. And so I'm going to say this real quick, and then we can go on talking. But the way to become a partner in hope today is to call. Call the number 1-800-573-5425, and this will be the best money you've ever spent. You won't miss it. It's something that we've been doing for years, and we've never, we don't miss that money. But we know that where it's going and what it's going for.
Yes.
And, just to make people aware, you never know who it's going to hit. And, I know of one child at least one a year from this area that goes to St. Jude. And when I get that phone call, because I get, I have friends and they'll call me and, hey, Lynette, what can you talk to somebody, or, can you pray for this child? Can you give, can you tell Tori they're coming, and there's certain protocols and you just can't do that.
But it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
More
But,
comfortable.
so, I'll say, I can't tell Tori they're coming, but they can connect when they get there. So, because there's just so much. I mean, PHI is.
Oh yeah.
It's strict. I work in healthcare too, so you have to be really careful.
But it's got to be comforting to know that there's a little piece of home.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, because people here that know us and know Tori, they just want to connect with someone that's from where they're from.
Yeah.
And everything. And so, they're able to connect and everything once they get there and stuff like that. But, and I tell you, the thing that makes me the proudest is, hearing back from the people, because several of these people, their kids have had leukemia.
Yeah.
And, so to hear from them, and, Tori may be their child life specialist, and to hear what she's done for their child.
Yeah.
They'll tell us that they didn't really know their child, because they're young, they're 3 or they're 4, understood what was going on until they get back home, and that child starts telling their cousins and their family, what they have and what they're going through and their treatment and what's been going on. And, they say it's because of, the way Tori explained it to them, or their child life specialist explained it to them, because they do break it down on a child's level.
Well, it's got to be a full circle moment for you guys.
It is. And, I know that it's hard for me because, I I know that what she has to do sometimes, and
Yeah.
not every outcome is good.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, she deals at a young age with having to help people with death
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And so it takes a very special person to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Mhm.
And she is a very special person and does that well. But it breaks my heart to know that there's so many children out there, so many families that are losing kids and so many children, and that
Mhm.
how many people that she's had to help through that grieving process and
Yeah.
go through that. That's, it's just
Tough.
overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't imagine what she goes through dealing with that, what the families go through, because our outcome was so good. And we're just thankful that it was, and we're thankful that the people that give and that gave all of this time so that,
Mhm.
we could have our daughter here with us today, and so that she can help other people.
I mean, it's truly is a full circle moment.
It is.
It's that higher power that
Mhm.
there was a purpose that you
Yeah.
had to go through all that, and
Yeah.
it's easy to look back now and be like, oh, that's why I had to do that.
Yeah.
But at
And-
the time,
And I think very early on in Tori's treatment, she realized that she wanted to go back and work there.
yeah,
Um,
and a lot of them do, which
Yeah,
always
they
blows
do.
my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've heard tremendous amounts.
yeah. And the little kids, I don't know who it's tougher on, if
Mhm.
it's tougher on the little kids or the older kids, but the little kids, when they go through it, they probably don't remember as much.
Yeah.
But when you have a child that goes through it at the age Tori did, they remember it
Mhm.
more. Now the little kids, they continue to go back. So
Yeah.
as they grow, they learn more about it, and
Right.
they learn,
Mhm.
But they
what
don't
they were there
remember
for, but
what
they
they
don't-
had to go
yeah,
through.
they don't
and all
really
that stuff,
remember.
Yeah.
And Tori was kind of on the older,
Uh-huh.
really kids that have leukemia. They're the younger ages.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
the infants are 3, 4, 5. Tori was 11, and that's on the older side of
Yeah.
having ALL. I mean, not leukemia in particular, but for
Right.
ALL.
Mhm.
Most of them get AML,
Uh-huh.
with, is what the older kids get. So they were really kind of shocked a little bit when she had the ALL.
Right.
But
Did she have a hard time adjusting to it? I mean, being around the smaller kids.
oh no,
Yeah.
no. Really, when we were there was only at the Ronald McDonald House, there were probably 5 or 6
Mhm.
kids that were
Okay.
around her
Yeah.
age. But when you're that age,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were boys,
Mhm.
and so
So
when
she
you're
probably welcomed the younger ones.
yeah, when
Right.
you're
Yeah.
at that age, it's like they don't really want to be around each other
Yeah.
because they're all bald and they're all
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
so it wasn't that she really connected really closely with anybody her age,
Uh-huh.
but the little kids she did.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
there
still
were
to this day.
yeah,
she
Yeah.
still
there were
kids, so-
little kids there, and they just flocked to her,
Yeah.
and she played with them and took care of them, and
Yeah.
I
Little
mean, we
did
would,
she
awesome.
know that
Yeah.
later on that would be
Yeah.
her job.
Exactly.
You know?
and I mean, I
Exactly.
have pictures of her with all kinds of
Uh-huh.
of little kids. There was a little boy that he was just so cute, and we called him the yes man, because everything that you ask him is yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
I love it.
and just so cute. But we connected with one little boy that he was exactly her age.
Mhm.
He was diagnosed. We were diagnosed in May. He was diagnosed in August. So, and when Katrina came through,
Oh yeah.
and they were from South Louisiana, and they had evacuated
Uh-huh.
and to Lafayette, and he got sick while he was there.
Oh,
And
wow.
so they took him to the hospital, and so we were in Memphis when they got there. His name was Spencer,
Mhm.
and so Spencer had leukemia just like Tori. He was the same exact
Right.
age as Tori, and so we were kind of going through it together. And
Gotcha.
and Tori and Spencer knew each other, and they would associate with each other. But
Mhm.
his mom and I, Joan and I, spent a lot of time cooking in the kitchen together
Right.
and stuff like
right.
that.
Right.
And so Spencer was doing the same protocol we were.
Okay.
And we were kind of on the same schedule. I mean, they were a little bit behind us, because they came 3 months after us, but we always we would be there at the same time. Like we would go first because,
Mhm.
you go for 3 months. So we saw them right at the end of our stay when we
Yeah.
were fixing to leave. And then, but when we would come back, they would always be there at the end of
Gotcha.
theirs. So we just crossed paths a
Mhm.
lot. And then we kept in touch with each other while when we were both gone,
Mhm.
just seeing how it went. But Spencer relapsed, and we were there when they got the news that he relapsed, and they started a little bit different protocol with him, and he wasn't getting to go home as much,
Mhm.
and so they were there a lot when we would go. And then they got him in remission again, and he relapsed again, and so but he didn't make it.
Yeah.
And he had the same exact thing Tori did.
This might be a little much of a question, but does that send her into like a survivor's guilt of some sort at that time?
I don't think that it did. I don't know that it did, but I
Mhm.
will tell you, we were at St. Jude when we got there, like the day that he passed away.
Mhm.
And of course, they were taking him back home for his funeral and everything. And so we were trying to get back to
Mhm.
do it, but I didn't. And we weren't able to get back because our treatment went a little longer than we thought. When you're having
Yeah.
treatment, they really watch your counts and everything.
yeah.
And so if your counts are too low, you have to stay around because they
Right.
want them to come back up, because that just means you could get an infection.
Right,
and you
right.
could have to go in the hospital. So we didn't get to make it. But at the same time, I didn't know if taking her was the best thing, because,
Right.
here you are and you have cancer and this child
Yeah.
relapsed. So it's like,
Yeah.
Like you're in the middle of
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
how would that affect
Yeah.
a child to
Just
see
mentally.
another child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did, y'all know Christian,
Mhm.
and, Christian was there when we were
Yeah.
there. And we got, Bama knew Christian's dad and everything, Jan, but I'd never met them. So we met Christina and Christian and everything while we were there and got to be good friends with them. So that one was tough for us.
Yeah.
when-
Yeah, that was
it was tough. Yeah,
that was really tough. I mean, y'all got to know. Y'all
Oh,
got to
oh,
be
yeah.
really good
Oh,
friends.
yeah.
And,
She made us.
Christian
Like,
was a
you know,
special
yeah.
person.
She
Oh
was.
gosh,
She was.
I
she
think
was
about
a
her all
doll.
the time.
Yeah. So
something sparks. And you go.
Yeah.
if you see a frog, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've ran across so many people in our life there, and like I said, not every outcome is good.
Right.
And
But it's part of the journey. And I mean, I hate
Yeah.
saying it that way, but
Yeah.
it's part of the journey to get to
Yeah.
where we're at today
right.
in the research
Right.
that we have today.
And the research we have today, and my shirt says it all. It talks about St. Jude and just the research, and it's
Mhm.
not just saving lives here, but everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, definitely.
Because St. Jude, not only they share their research,
Mhm.
and they share it with other people so that we can save lives. These kids' lives everywhere, because no child ever deserves to go through cancer.
Mm-mm.
I mean, no one does.
No one does. You're
But
right.
especially a child, and I can't imagine. I mean, did the thought run through our mind? Yes.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, the length of time that it took to diagnose Tori,
Mhm.
we were lucky, because after we got there, the friend of the pathologist that found it was a friend of ours, and Bama talked to him, and he shared with Bama that, it was getting bad,
Yeah.
because the rate that it grows, it was
Mhm.
about to take over her whole bloodstream.
Oh,
And
God.
So they
at that
caught it
point-
in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's what happens, is that it grows so fast,
Mhm.
and because it multiplies, those leukemic
Yeah.
cells multiply, and if you don't catch it in time, then it's just harder to
To
treat
fight. Yeah.
and harder to fight. So,
Right.
yeah. And the way that y'all can help the fight,
That's what I was fixing to say.
everyone can help the fight.
Mhm.
That's
So
right.
become a fighter today. Become a giver today. Call this number, 1-800-573-5425. Become a partner in hope. We're going to call our partner in hope's fighters.
I like that. I like it.
Because they're helping
Fight the fight.
the fight.
That's right.
It's a little
That's right.
St. Jude army.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
For
that.
So we're
sure.
gonna have our St. Jude Army here. That's,
Yeah,
That's
what we're gonna
right.
do.
That's right.
I like
That's
that.
right.
I
And,
think we just coined that phrase.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need everybody out there to become a partner in hope. Just give. I mean, think about it. I
Mhm.
will tell y'all the reason I became a partner in hope
Yeah.
Mhm.
was because of KRRV,
Really?
because of this radiothon.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine, and we were working together, and we had it on, and we cried all day long.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we looked at each other, and at the end of the day, and we said we have to become a partner in hope. And so we called this number, and we did it.
And you
then,
did it.
and
Yeah.
And you're still doing it.
Still doing it.
and it was
Above
it-
and beyond,
it
actually.
was the
Yes.
best. You know, it's the best feeling in the world. And
Mhm.
look, I hate to say I look forward to coming up here and talking to y'all at these things. I could come and spend all day with you.
Right.
Oh, you're welcome. Come on
But
back.
you know, just being a part of this
Yeah.
with y'all and trying to help raise money for St. Jude is just it's a blessing for us. It's something that we
Well, you guys
love
have
to do.
a blessing
and,
for us too.
always look forward to helping y'all in anything that y'all do.
I always call it our little family reunion every
Yeah.
year. That's
It
what I
is.
call
Definitely.
it. So,
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
We
thank
do.
you guys
Yes.
for everything that you do, because you go above and beyond, and every year you show up and bring more and more every year. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
And we're trying to just make everybody understand what this help does
Mhm.
and how many families y'all are helping. I mean, it's not just Louisiana families, but
Oh, no.
you would not believe how many Louisiana license plates
Oh, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
are
It's
in
crazy.
that parking lot up
Yeah.
there. It's truly amazing. And you know, we have great people here that support through all of central
Mhm.
Louisiana. And the children that have cancer that we know from here are not just from Alexandria, they're
Exactly.
from the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to KRV, and I know KRV spans out
We
through a
do.
large area because I listen to it when I'm driving, so I
Right.
know how far it goes.
Right. So you hear all
But-
the goofiness. Okay.
Yeah, so
She's hooked.
I better behave now.
yeah, so I know how many people out there it's touching, and y'all do not know when it's going to touch your lives.
Yeah.
Or someone you know's life.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying this. I have a healthy daughter now because of it, and and let me say this too.
Mhm.
Not only does St. Jude cure your child, but they follow your child,
Mhm.
and because they have after treatment
Yeah.
protocol that they follow your child with late, and they educate you on what your late effects are going to be
Right.
and everything, and what to look for, because even though they cure you now, you're still could get cancer later of another kind.
Right.
So they educate you on that and what to look for and everything, and make sure you're doing your follow-up treatments and stuff. So it doesn't just stop when you're cured from cancer. So just know that you're continuing to help these kids maintain a good lifestyle and live a happy, healthy life. But you're also you're helping these parents just not worry and not suffer with the burdens of
Mhm.
Financial stress that they may have. But I just can't even tell y'all how much it means to the families for the support. And that's what we're asking y'all today. Just become a fighter, become a partner in hope, become our little warrior, and call 1-800-573-5425, because this is what's going to help save these children and save their families.
Again, thank you. You and Bama and Tori. Thank you. Thank the whole
The
family.
whole family. It's
Y'all are
just
gonna
doing
so
what you do.
amazing.
Y'all are going to get to talk to Tori later
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And hopefully Bama get to call in. He's working out of town and he's pretty busy
Yeah.
today. He said he's going to try, but
We know he will.
it's
It's a cause that is definitely near and dear to your heart. And you
it
can
is.
tell it.
It
in every
is.
way.
And if anybody, if you have a healthy child, if you have a healthy grandchild, think about them. Think about what you would do,
Yeah.
what would happen if you got that phone call.
Mhm.
And that was another hard thing is,
Mm-hmm.
calling your family to tell them
what's going on.
What's going on.
Yeah. Well, you have to relive it every time you talk about
right.
it.
And I mean, y'all have had family members that have had cancer, and y'all you have grandchildren, Pat. So if you you have nieces and nephews.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know what it would happen, how close you are to them if you got that phone call. So, and it's something you don't want to ever have to hear someone getting that phone call. And the way to do that is to find a cure.
That's it.
And that's what we're here for. And that's what St. Jude is here for. Not only to help your child, but to do the research that will try to cure cancer and just eliminate cancer. And, what a great day that would be.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen.
1-800-573-5425. That's 1-800-573-5425 to become a partner in hope. Again, thank you for everything.
Thank y'all for having me.
We could talk to you
all day.
I could talk to y'all all day too. I mean, St. Jude is so near and dear. It's something that we love to share.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
As always.
Thank you.
Thank you so
It is
much.
the 30th annual Country Cares for St. Jude Radiothon brought to you by McDonald's. We're going to be right back.
Well, good morning. If you liked yesterday, you're really going to like today with sunny skies.